Banshees Return, the hidden threat of planes. Why did you die? Every year, 50,000 women die at the hands of those close to them, 80% of whom are male. While wars claim 78,000 lives annually, we are blind to the unseen battle women face every day. These deaths don't occur on battlefields or in the headlines. They happen quietly, unnoticed, hidden beneath the guise of random heart attacks. But when you dig deeper, a chilling truth begins to emerge. The war against women is real, and it's being fought with machines. The pandemic of deaths continues to spread. In major cities, 10,000 unidentified women die every year, their deaths categorized as heart attacks. But these deaths are far from random. They are the result of a deadly technology, a subliminal weapon, triggering an invisible assault on women's bodies through electrical charges and sound waves. The perpetrator? The very machines that shape our modern lives, like planes. Planes, silent killers in the sky. Planes are one of the most powerful carriers of the subliminal weapon used against women. With their roaring engines and the consistent hum of alternators, compressors, and air conditioning fans, they generate the ideal conditions for triggering patent #US 6017302A, a technology capable of manipulating the nervous system. Airports, flight paths, and high-rise buildings near major airfields are hotspots for the unseen assault. Women living near airports, or even those traveling on planes, are subject to the effects of these machines, which send out invisible, targeted signals designed to cause neurological and cardiovascular collapse. Every flight takes off and lands with an intensity that seems to go unnoticed by most. Yet the electrical fields and the frequencies emitted by the planes serve as silent weapons, triggering pulses that invade the human nervous system. These pulses interfere with the electrical rhythms of the heart, causing it to stop, an event mistakenly attributed to natural causes. Case study: Sarah Whitmore. Sarah Whitmore, 34, lived in a quiet suburban neighborhood just outside a major city's airport. She worked as a marketing executive for a global tech firm, commuting daily into the heart of the city. Despite her busy work schedule, she had always maintained a healthy lifestyle, regular exercise, a balanced diet, and a low-stress routine. On the surface, she was the picture of good health. But over the course of several months, Sarah began to feel increasingly fatigued. She attributed it to the pressures of her job, the long hours, and the stress of commuting. She lived just a few blocks away from the airport, so it wasn't unusual for planes to fly overhead as she sat in her garden or walked her dog. The noise was constant, but she never thought much of it, until things started to change. One late afternoon, Sarah went for her usual jog around the neighborhood. As she passed a nearby park, a large plane descended on its final approach to the runway. The sound of the engines was deafening, but it was something she had grown accustomed to. Yet that day, something felt different. The noise of the plane's engines seemed to reverberate through her entire body, sending a wave of dizziness over her. She slowed her pace and tried to shake it off, but the sensation lingered. Within minutes, her heart began to race erratically, her chest tightened, and she collapsed in the park. By the time paramedics arrived, Sarah was pronounced dead of a heart attack. The cause seemed clear: stress, maybe genetics, or an underlying heart condition. But Sarah's family knew something didn't add up. She was healthy, active, and had no history of heart disease. A local investigator, suspicious of the increasing number of women in the area who had died suddenly of heart attacks, began to look deeper into the matter. He uncovered a disturbing pattern: women living near the airport, often in high-rise apartments or near major flight paths, were dying at an alarming rate. Their deaths were all categorized as heart attacks, but the cause was more sinister than anyone could have imagined. Further investigation revealed that the frequency and intensity of the planes passing over Sarah's neighborhood were producing acoustic vibrations and electromagnetic interference that triggered an attack on her nervous system. The planes, with their high-pitched engines and alternating power systems, emitted the perfect conditions for the weapon hidden in plain sight. Patent #US 6017302A. Sarah, like many other women before her, had become a target in this silent war. The stealthy weapon of the skies. The tragic deaths of these women remain a mystery to most. The deaths are often listed as sudden cardiac events, but the consistent pattern among victims points to something far darker. They are women who lived near airports, who often worked near flight paths, or who spent long hours in airports or on planes. But the real question remains: who is behind the curtain? The perpetrators of this silent assault are the workers in the aviation industry, pilots, ground crews, and maintenance staff, who operate these machines. These workers are often seen wearing uniforms that mask their identities: black caps, sunglasses, and closed windows as they move in and out of airports and flights. Their actions are part of a larger, orchestrated plan to target women through the use of commercial aviation. What's more chilling is that it's not just limited to the planes in the air. The aircraft industry has long known about the potential of these systems, and their use as a weapon in this hidden war against women is allowed to continue under the radar. Industries, governments, and the global elite continue to turn a blind eye, protecting their interests at the expense of women's lives. The pattern of concealment. Just as with the previous machines used in this invisible war, planes leave no obvious traces of their involvement. The attacks happen silently, without warning, and the deaths are ruled as heart attacks, with no investigation into the deeper causes. But the data is starting to speak for itself. Women, who have no apparent pre-existing conditions, are dying in numbers consistent with a war, only it's a war no one seems willing to acknowledge. As the death toll rises, we must ask, how many more women will die before this hidden war is exposed for what it truly is?